Good morning. Welcome to the City of Worcester Civic Center Commission meeting for January 22nd, 2026. My name is Lenny Schifredo. I'm the new chairman. I'd like to introduce my colleagues, my commissioners, Kate McAvoy, Penelope Herodine, and Kevin Gould are here today. Here. Also from Legends Global, Bridget Canavan, Melissa Day, and John Lahier. And City of Worcester, the guy who does all the work for us is Matt Irvin. Matt's here. Thank you, Matt. And thank you all. We're going to skip through the agenda a little bit because I guess the auditors, are they on? Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah. Hi. So we're going to move to item number 4 on the agenda, which is the DCU financial statement and audit report. So would you mind just introducing yourself, please?
Absolutely. First of all, thank you to the commission for having me here this morning, having me in the meeting this morning to discuss the audit. I am Matthew Hunt with the audit firm Clifton Larson Allen, otherwise known as CLA. I'm a signing director with CLA and look forward to talking about the audit. So I don't have the ability, I do have a presentation file. It looks like I don't have the ability to share screen. So I'll just walk through the agenda. Today, we're just going to go over sort of an overview of what the audit objectives were for the FY25 audit, give you an overall executive summary of the audit results, give you some financial highlights as well, and then just open it up for any questions that anyone has. So with that said, the primary objectives of our audit, of every year's audit, but for FY25's audit, is to A, express an opinion on the DCU Center's financial statements, also to report on any internal control findings that we would have come across as part of the audit, and also provide any other communications related to any other issues or findings associated with the audit. In terms of an overall executive summary, when it comes to our opinion on the financial statements of the DCU, one thing that you may notice is there's some language in there that refers to an adverse opinion. So obviously your initial thought would be, well, that doesn't sound good. But I do want to make it very clear that the only reason why there's language in there about a quote-unquote adverse opinion is because the premise of every audited financial statement is that the financial statements are going to be presented under generally accepted accounting principles. As it relates to this particular audit of the DCU Center, this audit is based on the accounting principles of the management agreement between the City of Worcester and DCU Center. So because the basis of accounting is not GAAP, generally accepted accounting principles, you automatically have to put in language about an adverse opinion. However, as it relates to the audit of the financial statements as they're presented in accordance with the management agreement, that is unmodified, unqualified opinion. We did not come across any misstatements related to the financial statements. So I just want to make clear in case anybody saw that language and saw the word adverse and was like, oh, that doesn't sound good. It's just a standard thing that we have to do whenever the financial statements are presented on a different basis of accounting. Also, there were no internal control findings that we came across as part of the audit. And there were also no compliance issues with laws, regulations, contracts, and grants as part of our audit procedures. In terms of financial highlights, very consistent with the prior year, FY25 versus FY24. Your total assets were about $7.5 million at the end of the year. Liabilities were a little over $9 million at the end of the year. And then there's also a deficit net position of about $1.5 million. The reason for that is a couple of years ago, obviously with COVID, there were some operating losses that were incurred by the DCU Center. So that's why you see that deficit net position. In terms of revenues and expenses, also somewhat consistent between 25 and 24. There was certainly a bump in revenues. Revenues in 2024 were about $8.1 million. In 2025, that went to $8.7 million. That's a result of increased events, some more profitable events that occurred in FY25. Expenses also went up slightly, which you would expect whenever there's increased events, etc. There's going to be an increase in expenses for salaries and wages and things of that nature. So expenses were about $7.3 million in FY25, leaving you with operating income of slightly under $1.4 million compared to the previous year's operating income of about $1.1 million. So overall, a good year for the DCU Center. In terms of some other matters to to relay as part of the audit, and then we'll open up for any questions. In terms of your significant accounting policies, those are described in Note 1. There are no transactions that we identified that lacked authoritative guidance. We feel like the DCU Center's financial statement notes are neutral, consistent, and clear. We did not identify any significant or unusual transactions. We also did not have any disagreements with management during the course of the audit, and we're not aware of any consultations that management made with other accountants as part of the audit. So really, that's sort of our overview of the FY25 audit. Happy to open it up for any questions that anyone has.
And from any of the commissioners, questions?
I do not have any questions.
Just a couple of basic ones, Matt, if I may. So this is the first audit that I've seen. I've only been here not quite 2 years. I think March will be 2 years. But is this something we can expect to see annually?
Yes, we do the audit. And I heard you speaking of that earlier. Basically, if we're invited to come and speak with the commission, we were happy to do so. I think for the previous year's audit, we just simply weren't invited to present the audit. But yes, we do the audit annually, and I'm happy to discuss the results at the audit. I usually leave that up to the city or the commission to invite us to a meeting. But yes, we do the audit annually.
It would be nice to just see, you know, how we're doing on a yearly basis, or track it back a few years. I mean, you know, we had $1.5 million deficit this year. How does that reflect in past years? We want to make sure we're going in the right direction, not the wrong direction.
Absolutely. So no, what I'll do is I'll make a note to maybe be a little bit more proactive about making sure that I'm put on the agenda after the audit is completed.
Okay, terrific. Anyone else? Kate, do you have a pen number?
I got a hand up.
Oh, I'm sorry. I
I've
didn't
been on
see pen.
hello, no worries. I've been on the commission for over 5 years, and in the 5-year stint, we've never had an audit presented to us. So I think it's a really good idea that we do have that. So Lenny, just for an FYI, we haven't had an audit since I've been on it, which has been many years.
Okay,
So I think
Good
it's a good
information.
idea that we do have an annual meeting, annual audit.
absolutely.
Thank you, Penny. Matt, can you kind of keep that on your radar too? As long as
Yes.
you're servicing the board.
Yes. And I apologize. I don't know if it's been that long, but it doesn't seem like it's been that long to me, but that's fair enough. But I'll definitely be more proactive about pushing to make sure that I'm on the agenda.
Well, Penny's our historian now, so she'd know.
Ha 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 ha. Only in not in years of living, just in years of on the commission, please.
Thank you for that.
Quick question.
Go ahead, Matt.
Matt, would it traditionally be better to just plan on a January as like the annual time we do a presentation? I don't know what your normal schedule is.
Yes, that makes sense because sometimes I think this year's audit was completed around October, but some years it does spill into November or December. So I think it's good to maybe just plan on January, such that even if it's issued in October, it's not like it's stale. So yes, that's what I'll do is I'll make a note to sort of be proactive about getting on the January schedule.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Matt. Anybody else? I guess that's it. Thank you, man. Thank you, folks.
Okay, excellent.
Oh, Melissa, I'm sorry.
If anything else comes up, you know where to find me.
To accept it.
Oh, do we need a vote to accept it? Okay, on a vote to accept the auditor's report, can I have a motion, please?
I move to accept the auditor's report.
So I have a motion.
A motion
Kevin,
to accept?
and I have a second. Was that Kate or was that Penelope?
Second.
Kate. Okay.
Hey.
Kate. I'm sorry, Kate. I can't, we got a small screen and I got old eyes. On that motion to accept the auditor's report, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, motion approved, and the commission accepts the auditor's report. Thank you very much for your work, sir.
Thank you very much for having me. Have a good day,
Have a
everybody.
good day. Thank you. Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you, Matt.
I was gonna say one thing, I would give a lot of credit to Melissa Day and her team, as well as obviously management for preparing this audit and it coming through so clean with all the good comments from the auditor.
Thank you.
There was no holes or things they felt that required, this looked odd. So it says a lot. You guys got a lot going on with a lot of vendors, so
Thank you.
And Melissa, I have one question for you, and I didn't think it was the auditor's thing, but under operating expenses, you had a bank service charge of $107,000.
Yeah,
What is that?
that's the credit card fees.
$107,000.
Yeah, for the food and beverage concessions.
Wow,
Yeah,
wow. Too bad you can't negotiate with credit card.
I know.
That's what the state law's about.
Well, I mean,
right?
I suspect we probably have millions of transactions, right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah. Yeah, everything's on
but
credit.
we don't expect cash, we're all digital, right?
Yeah,
It was just amazing to see
I don't
that.
actually think that's, I know, I think it's actually a reasonable number, given that we probably do how many million in sales
Yeah,
on concessions.
It's kind of the cost of doing business.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's why the banks built big buildings.
so I brought the capital investment, 3.5 million. Sandy said that we should bring this to the commission to get a vote saying that we fulfilled our obligation. Now, what I brought to you.
Oh, is that what that sheet was?
That sheet is everything that we spent, the 3.5 million for the capital investment that Legends Global provided to the city, to the DCU Center. And what we did was, in this list, we had the point of sale, we purchased a whole new point of sale for the food and beverage system. And then we did the LED upgrades, which is the consultant for the marquee ribbon board and concourse signage that you can see that's all been done. And then we also redid the suites. And these are all the invoices that were paid out. And so we overspent $6,200, which we're going to expense to the building.
If you need action on this, I don't think Kate or Penelope actually, I know you didn't see this.
Right.
So maybe if we could, if you don't need this done today,
Yeah,
we could get this to you.
it's not digital, but if you can email it to us, we can look at it now and approve it by the end of the meeting.
Is that something we can
That sounds
do?
like a good idea.
Great idea.
You can do that. You may see something from Rebecca Lindbergh or it would be your account, so what they're looking for.
Okay, is that something we want to do? Okay, so Rebecca's going to forward that. You guys can take a look at that when you get a chance.
So is this, right?
That's not it.
Oh, that one,
Sounds
that's the
good.
one that.
Oh, yeah, I don't know if we have it electronic yet.
Yeah. Yeah. Bridget's going to email them, take a picture of it.
Okay. So Kate and Penelope, we're going to take a picture of this document, and Rebecca will send it to you, and then we'll revisit this at the end of the meeting. Let me know
Sounds
if you
good.
don't get it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Back to the agenda item, approval of the meeting minutes from December 4th, 2025. The commissioners all have a chance to look over the minutes. Is there any questions on the minutes?
No.
Hearing no questions, can I have a motion to approve the minutes?
Move to approve the minutes.
I have a motion from Kevin,
Motion to approve,
and that was Kate.
second.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor of approval of the minutes from December 4th, 2025?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Minutes stand approved. Okay. Next item you had was chairman's appointment. So when the manager called and asked me if I would be interested in being a chairman, I said yes only because I deal with good people. My colleagues on the board, our partners at Legend Global, and our support from Matt and the technical staff of the city. So I'm humbled and I appreciate it, and I hope I don't screw up too bad for you guys. So thank you.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, Mr. Chair.
Appreciate you accepting the position too. Most of us realize that this is a volunteer position.
Your money's the same.
And, right, but it is a little bit more of a burden, it's just another effort as a chairman, so thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all. Next item is item number 5, City of Worcester project status update, Matt.
All right. So, I think I have good news. All right, so I'm gonna go through this. I'll try to hit primarily the, I've gotten back to highlighting the things that changed from what I presented last month. And I got some exact numbers based on some of the items we were estimating, based on actual bids that came through actually yesterday. Or I just marked down the one that we got last month for the elevator. So the arena elevator renovation, the actual number came in at $688,945, and the contractor awarded was Baskin Builders. We just got that contract finally executed this week. So they're getting started. We've already got the electrical contractor out working on site. They're setting up site visits to get into the elevator room to double check other machine room upgrades we got to do that aren't just elevator related. And this is kicking off pretty quick. I have a kickoff meeting I believe I scheduled for next week. And from there we're just going to, we're off to the race. We have work we can do in the machine room prior to having to shut the elevator down that we will continue to do as much as we can through the late winter and spring. And then right around that June 15th, mid-June, when we have our last graduation, we're pretty much shutting the elevator down right to the end of August. I think we may have put in a contractual deadline a week or two into August, not the very end, to address any, if something slips, we still have time to get it going before the big events start up again in September.
Looks like August 31st on your, is that?
Yeah, I think I have that as my, that's my goal, but contractually we may have put in a 2-week window to just speed it up. Well, give us that room. The next item is a big one we've been really working hard on is the convention center fire alarm panel upgrades, because we had a handful of panels where the buttons weren't working, and so we had to kind of got the entire panel, put in new components inside the same enclosure, connect all the existing field devices, and we had to do that in 7 different panels located in 3 different locations. So we started Monday, and from Monday through Thursday, they were working anywhere from 10 to 11 hours a day to get this done, and we had hoped we'd be done Thursday. We actually had to work right through all the way until 2 o'clock Friday to get this ready so that we knew it would be safe for the events that weekend. So I would like to put a lot out there to Del Signore, the electrician, and JCI, their technicians, for committing the time to do that. We were not able to do the 100% test. We're going to schedule that, I believe it's February 9th through the 11th. We checked in with Rob, and that's another 3-day window where there's limited activity in the convention center, so the impact of the horns and strokes should be limited. That should be the final step. We were working through one horn circuit just to identify some issue with that circuit. I believe we chased that down for a couple horn strokes. We'll replace those, and that'll clean up that whole panel. There'll be no trouble. Not on here, but something that did come up literally in the last 2 days when I could kind of confirm funding and all that, is the arena panel also had 2 troubles. And operations was aware of it. They'd been working with JCI. They got a quote. The quote came in over the threshold that normally would mean it's Legends or it's a city. So I am taking that on. It's about 5,400, a little less, but that's kind of T&M, to come out and replace 2 parts on the arena. And that should actually, when we're done with that, by the end of February, both fire alarm panels should have 0 troubles, which has been something that's it's gonna help the facility just to be safer, but it's also gonna help the facility and the relationship with fire protection. So it's gonna show that we made some significant progress catching up on some of the things that have just been slipping and drifting. So that's where that's at. I do expect a change order for some of that overtime. Right now, we're talking about it being less than 15,000. But because it was going so fast, I don't have an exact number in my hand. We're just basing, it's just labor rate, it's on additional materials right now. They haven't had to provide anything that wasn't part of the original material spec. I did raid some attic stock we had from a City Hall fire alarm project to facilitate, because a couple of devices came in from the manufacturer that didn't work. And I just was lucky enough to have some of those cards over at Union Station basement, and we brought them over and put them in, and they're brand new, they just weren't used at a project that we had. So that's another way we were able to make this thing work for Saturday and Sunday events.
Do you need to replace what you borrowed from Union Station?
No. I can talk to make sure, because I understand the questions about the funding, but I don't know if it costs more to, I'll have to confirm that. It's a good question. The next one, structural rigging grid. We did get quotes. We actually got 4 quotes, but the lowest quote was $2,160,000. So that actually was approximately 3.5 million thousand, less than we estimated, which helps. So we've got that going. So now we've kind of finished the bidding. We're into that contract execution period. And so if you're looking at the list here, you'll see that we did slip on that bid in date by about 9 days. That was because while bidding right before, a few days, well, not quite a week, but a few days before the bid date was supposed to close, one of the GCs did reach out to us and ask if we could extend it another day, because they had to start with a second structural subcontractor, because the first decided it wasn't something they wanted to do, and they had asked, and I wanted to make sure we got bids. So we pushed it out one more week, and we ended up getting the 4 bids, but we wanted to make sure we gave everybody a chance to really get on this. So in the end, I think it worked out well, because we didn't come under budget with the bid. So that's going to get going, and that's also another one where they know they pretty much have from June 15th-ish, that means right to August 31st, and that's a hard deadline. So even during the pre-bid site visit, we pretty much said that our standard working hours, yes, 3:30 to 7, but that doesn't mean you can't work late. It's just, you got to tell us when you're doing it so we can make sure we can accommodate it if you're working double shifts or whatever you're doing. So everybody understands that it's on them to provide any overtime necessary to meet that deadline. It's not something where overtime is a change order based concept. It's meet your deadline, you own it however you got to do it to do it. So we'll see how that plays out. That's how it was written and planned. I've also seen how people try to reinterpret that, and we'll have to figure out how that all plays out. The arena chiller, similarly, we got our bids in. The chiller bids were actually pretty tight. They're all very close. But General Mechanical ended up being the lowest bidder, and that was $1,123,000. So that was one that was actually higher than estimated. But not as much as structural was lower. So we're kind of still at a break even, actually a little bit of additional funds still remaining that we didn't anticipate, that we estimated using, that we now don't need to use, and it'll leave us some room for change orders, or looking at these other projects we've been holding off because we didn't know how the bids would come through. So,
Matt,
yes.
when you put these, would it be a big deal if you were to just put in just a very like simple sentence? This came in about $200,000 under bid. This came in about $100,000 over our budget or our estimate. Just to memorialize that in the thing.
Yeah, I will do that.
In the comments,
what I was
Kate.
trying to do in that regard is, if you look at the budget sheet, I have a column that shows the approved value, and then a column that shows
Yeah.
the proposed value. So before we go to bid, those numbers are kind of the same. I'm proposing to you the estimated value, you approve that much. So if you look at the arena chiller at the very bottom, the chiller and the structural rigging grid, you'll show that you had approved 900,000 for the bid because of the estimate, but that one came in at 1,123,000. What I tended to do is, once you approve the actual value, those switch. So the proposed value would look like the 900,000 and the approved value would look like the 1,123,000. So you
Oh,
can
so it's
still
a
have
moving
those
target.
numbers to reference that the approved value was either higher or lower than the proposed value. Does that make
So
sense?
if it's a big park, and yeah, it doesn't matter, it's all good, all good.
But
All right,
but I
thank
think,
you.
not to speak for you, Kate, but I think what she's saying, Matt, if we can kind of do it in your comment sheet.
Okay.
You know, this way.
I can do that.
You're not cross-referencing.
I'll add a couple lines, like I'll say the bid came in at this, it was
Yes.
estimated at this, the difference is this.
Yeah, you know, and instead of having to analyze another piece of paper, we got it in front of us, and it's easy to look at. Well,
You
it's
can-
not too much work.
It's like that, I wouldn't even say, I wouldn't even add that much. I would just say, right now, you've got the lowest bid result is this. I would just say, this is 10% higher than what we proposed. This is 200% lower than what we proposed, or this is a savings over of X over. So you just know that it's higher or lower than what we had estimated.
Okay, gotcha.
I think, so we don't have to belabor it, make it huge. I just think it's like a directional, so we have it, like Lenny's saying, just in one spot. But I have to tell you how much I enjoy this sheet. It makes it so much easier for us to follow.
I'm very
Yeah, I just-
glad. This is another one though, that if you look at the schedule for the arena chiller, you will see that we slipped almost a whole month in the bidding. Part of that was the holidays, 12/24, and then you run into Christmas, etc. Part of it was also, I believe we had one or two addenda that we thought was worth pushing it out again. But it really comes to, if you look, our bid start date is where we actually lost the first 2 weeks. And that was just getting our stuff in order, making sure it was right before we went, just review comments back and forth on specs and front end. So that got delayed a couple weeks. In a way, we saved a day in bidding compared to what we estimated. So now it comes down, the benefit to this is this one wasn't, it had to be done by August 31st. So this one is set up for, as I had made the note there, 270 days of execution. So once the contract's executed, which originally I had planned by the end of this week, I'm now assuming that may be sometime in February, but then we'll have 270 days from that to complete the work. We built 270 based on the understanding there are lead times to chillers, so we couldn't just say it only takes us so much time on site to work and do it. Nobody would have bid it again. So that's that one. Any more questions on the chiller? No. Okay, the network UCS upgrade. This has been very difficult. Every time we think we're ready to take the next step, the last time I was at the meeting, we thought we were going to do the Dell storage install in December, finish the UCS upgrade in January, and be all set. Well, we went through a couple meetings early in December, and by mid-December, we realized that the equipment they needed for our network, power supply voltages, etc., didn't match what we needed. So now we're going through the whole process to have the appropriate equipment delivered, so we can do this work before we can take the next step to finish up the UCS upgrade. So at this moment, I have no belief there's a financial impact. It's just a delay between our vendor and who they purchased this from and getting that all arranged and figured out, and then they can get back to us and say, let's install it and do it. But with that, we are definitely not meeting our January 15th end date. And I am not comfortable even saying we're gonna close up by 3:15. I'm hoping we're done by 3:15. But I can't even give you a good estimate on that because I've got no updates on the return of the equipment delivered and the delivery of the new. None of that's been presented to me yet, so I don't want to mislead you into where this actual schedule is landing right now.
Matt, did the vendor acknowledge that it was an error?
I'm trying to nail that down. My understanding is not in writing yet, but through the telephone game, yes, they have acknowledged it.
Okay, yeah, just so they're not coming back with another bill.
Right, and that's why I don't want to say too much because I haven't done it in writing, so I don't want to make an assumption that someone above them in their office isn't going to say that there's some reason. So I've got to let this play out a little bit before I can be more accurate with that information.
Okay.
Trash room, actually, that is doing pretty good. The only reason we haven't tried to move the trash compactor in there now is I'm working on some ductwork outside the trash room to make sure that when they lift and drop the container into the room, we don't incidentally or accidentally hit that ductwork. They probably could have done it with it, but what that does is it means every driver coming is actually going to be paying attention to the level they need, and we'd rather move it so that that is not something we're relying on. So I do have a quote from N&T, a separate contractor, to redo that ductwork. They've already started that work. That was a $9,000 something thing that would be on the budget sheet, I believe, as an additional cost to ask for approval of. We kind of moved forward under the understanding previously with the commission that some of these minor things, based on the overall available budget, we can work on and keep it moving so things don't delay, because I'm waiting for the next meeting for a budget approval number. So they've already started the demo from my understanding. I got to confirm, but it was either yesterday or maybe this month, but I think it was yesterday. They're supposed to come in with a lift, take down all the ductwork, get the final measurements for the new stuff. Then they have an in-house ductwork producing side. So I believe by next week they're intending to come and be done with it. And once we do that, I'm going to work with Rob and Dave to confirm with Laterno to the next time they come to get one, the empty one comes over here and they fit and take the old dirty one out, or however they do it. So I think they take it out, they go dump it, and then they come back with the same unit, and then they'll put it in the new room instead of the old one. So that usually happens on Tuesdays. So if it's not next Tuesday, it may be the Tuesday after. We'll be finally all centered in a swing space for our trash collection.
And fully operational?
Yes. The room is fully operational as it is. It's just, again, getting that ductwork out of the way before we want to move the trash room.
I'm sure you work with Rob on specific training for the staff.
Yes, and we did some of that because thankfully it's not overly complicated. Most of the training was just understanding how the exhaust fan automatically turns on when certain doors are open or if you hit a button we have in the room. And I worked with the vendor. We did a quick test. It wasn't quite working the way we wanted. They revised it. Now it's doing exactly what it is. So when the overhead door opens, there's a motion sensor. Now, motion sensor is a heat sensor. So if the door is the same temp as the room, the movement of the door doesn't trigger it. But the cold truck coming in with a compactor is going to trigger it. So once the door opens and they start backing in, it triggers and turns the exhaust on automatically so a driver doesn't have to get up and turn it on. Or on the man's door side, where the tip carts will enter to dump that, when they come in, immediately on the left is a black little button. You hit that and it turns the exhaust fan on a predetermined time, and then it'll turn it back off when it's not in use. So if we're in a situation where you're not expecting lots of deliveries and for some reason we turn the exhaust fan off, either to contain heat so we're not just blowing out the building, this has the ability to override that. So anytime someone goes in the room, they can make sure the exhaust is going on so the smell is not going out the door. The other piece was the domestic hot water that's in there to just help wash down the room. That is, it's only coming out at the 120, the normal domestic hot water. It's not a 140 hot water source. So it is now, it's been mentioned. I believe we are good with what Rob wanted for paperwork to do that training. We may do one more walkthrough when the compactor actually is delivered, so we can show people how it's expected to be loaded, how the gate opens, things like that. But until the compactor's in there, it's kind of hard to take that step. So the trash room's actually almost done. We did get all the final testing and balancing the HVAC done last week. So now we're just waiting for that ductwork. Hopefully soon we're moving right in. Self-grade elevator repair. I did finally get the lowest bidder number, but I didn't have it by the time I sent this out. That number actually did come in at $20,004.50. The lowest bid right now is Otis Elevator. Worcester Elevator came in at $22,000. So once we get through the process of issuing the PO and working through the contractor, I will schedule that as soon as possible. Because we're in a situation now, because we have, that freight elevator has its different little lobbies at each floor that really aren't publicly presented. You don't have people randomly walking in there if you have an event on a floor. We should be able to schedule this any time that works for Rob that isn't really impacting the event because you're not using the elevator anyway. So when I can, I'll have them in and then kind of get started until it's done, and then we'll go through a thorough check and test. If it was just wiring issues and water, we'll be good. But if after they fix all the wiring and make sure everything's dry, they start to find some devices may have failed, we'll have to work through a change order and just keep going until we get that fixed. Exhibit hall concrete repairs, we did start that last week also, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday they were in. That allowed Thursday to be a cure day before the true cheerleader move-in date on Friday occurred. I think they took care of a good number of the worst items in the south end of the exhibit hall. So that's why I'm showing about 40% because this is T&M up to 10,000. We probably have one, maybe two more trips to come in and hit certain things before that money runs out. And then if we get into bigger and we need it, then I'll probably have to bid it out again because the contractor, Raymond James, is one of our on-call contractors, so it's 10,000 or less, I can go straight to them because they already had a bidded contractor win that on-call contract. But once I have to do it a second time, Chris says, okay, you got more work and this is specific to that space, that reason we need to bid it out when we're going over 10,000. I don't believe right now with all of our funding questions and where we want to prioritize that we may be leaning towards a bigger bid out again. Like last year we did up to 90,000 in repairs and we did a lot of repairs, but I don't know if we have what we believe is the 90,000 focus on that versus other things in the building that'll come up. So that'll be something we'll talk about later as we start getting into more of, here's where the numbers landed and now where do we want to start focusing the rest of the money. Our department is working with Tim McGurthy to try to figure out what he's going to give us, if there's any more than what we've already been awarded, or if what we got is what we got again, and we got to survive another year with what I think is showing as about $1,247,000 left to deal with any change orders or new projects until we get more money. And that's on the budget sheet. We'll go through that in a moment. The arena lower level back. Go ahead.
Quick question on that. So the next funding round would be July 1st?
Yes, it would have to get through a city council approval, so we couldn't use it before July 1st, but it actually may not even be approved by July 1st because of the way the cycle works.
Okay.
Sometimes it drags a little bit, but yeah, that would be the earliest we would have any additional funds.
All right, thanks.
What do we anticipate for additional funds? Do we have any idea what are we asking for? Kind of.
So the difficulty here with the ask obviously is recognizing that we currently don't even have loan authority. So it's not just funding, but loan authority on top of that. So there's a couple city council processes. But when you don't have that, it's hard to say, I need 4 million next year, I need 4 million. But we kind of did start spreading it out that way. Most of what we're showing right now for cash flow purpose is a lot of what we just bid rolling into next fiscal year. But for new funding, new loan authority, we kind of put a minor amount into FY25, and most of our requests are, FY27. Most of our requests are for 28, 29, 30, 31 down the line, and that's when we start showing these 4 million for this, 4 million for roof work, 4 million for RTU replacements, which we know is not even scratching the surface on that. We've got a lot of things that we're putting in for design to get to that point. We're also working on some things with the vault that we kind of rebuilt. Well, when we rebuilt it into the existing square footage of the existing vault. And so you had limited capacity of how you could rebuild that to maintain what the future load of this facility may need if we're gonna go electric. Because you can't turn all of our gas-fired RTUs into electric and with our current electrical. So we put some money in to start the design of what it would be to get to that stage. So FY27 included some money for the design of that, so that we can then figure out where we're going in the next 5 years when it comes to how this building will really be done and what our electric capacity. So we may have to completely rebuild that vault again. And like a new vault, so it has the bigger footprint to address the electrical demand of the building. But it's a balance because of the whole electrification push, and facilities like this, that's a huge jump. It's not an easy thing to creep into, because it doesn't just hit that, it'll hit their electric bill, which hits their operating budget annually. So it's a big financial picture.
You know, it's unfortunate, you and I had a conversation earlier about, it's a shame we got all this square footage of roof on the facility and we can't use it for solar.
And it doesn't help because of the National Grid's distribution here in downtown.
Yeah, which is unfortunate, really.
So, right, that's a major impact. And the idea of net metering, where you can take credits from an off-site solar and then apply it here, which I believe they're already doing some of the landfill solar to help offset our electric bill, but I'm not sure. I don't know if you recall, Melissa, or not, but I think there's some piece of that helping with offsetting your electric bill.
Yeah, we have solar credits.
But the thing is, with solar credits, they're not equal to the actual behind the meter solar offset of electric. You're not getting the same dollar for dollar kilowatt when you send it from another account to something in the grid. So,
Yeah, may I just ask, so we've got 14 items on this and we're spending 5 minutes per item. I think we need to really just check in and not delve into the weeds unless we have to on something.
I can do that.
So I have hard stop at 10 and I don't want us to shortchange any of the other reports.
You got it.
If I request, we could kind of glide through unless there's something.
Thank you, Kate.
and also just to let everybody know, I reordered these, so the things that I think may have more discussion are in the beginning now rather than at the end. So as we go through, they should be quicker. Next.
Is there anything on here that's really important to bring up, or are there any things I should say that don't need to be touched right now?
I'm gonna go through it real quick and you'll hear them. Number 10, no, nothing to do now. It's still on hold until we actually confirm funding and whether we want to focus our money on the revolving doors or other issues in the building. That design is literally just 5% of getting the final specs ready to go to bid. But we're gonna leave it there until we know better. Exterior lighting, we primarily talked about that last month. Arena sound system, that's just in closeout. Backflow preventers done. And the ice plant cooling tower construction are done, so those are all in closeout. So that is my update on
We need some votes,
that.
right?
Yeah, once I get into I would like to just review the budget sheet quickly, and that's where I can focus on the vote. The budget sheet, again, I need to work internally. Now, our department's doing much better tracking of this than I am able to present to you today. But the paid to date and balance, they have all the info, I just haven't been able to get it on this spreadsheet. So those numbers aren't showing accurately yet, but those are more for cash flow than available funds given to a project or not. So maybe at some point I need to add a line showing items or row numbers, but trash room ductwork support scope, that's $9,167.71. I am looking for approval to use those funds to get that ductwork remodified.
Is there more approvals, or is that the only one, Matt?
All the yellows I'm gonna go through.
Yeah, but,
So there's like 5 total, each one separate projects, so I thought it'd be.
I'm looking down, but the yellow line for the arena elevator modernization, that's under the approved value, so you still need an action on it?
By doing that, the next month I flip the 688 over to the approved instead of 770, and now what we're saying is we have more money to approve for something else later. But if I don't, then I've eaten up approval and I'll have more approval than funds available.
But is the project done?
No, that's the one we just bid. We're just getting started.
Right.
Now, we could keep it at 770 if you want to leave money there for potential change orders, or we can address change orders as they come.
I'd rather leave it, I don't know what my colleagues feel. Any thought, Ken?
Yeah, I think, do you anticipate having change orders on this?
To some level, nothing major. I mean, that also was a pretty good tight bid, so I got a feeling there won't be a lot of change orders of significant value, but I haven't gone through a project yet of this size that doesn't have something.
Okay, we'll do them individually. That's fine, if that's where you want to move it. What else, man?
Well, so the trash room, do we want to vote as I go through?
Sure.
9,167.71 for ductwork.
Ductwork support scope of an adder of 9,167. You want to round it up to $10,000? Or you want to keep it at that number?
That number.
That number.
That's not going to get a change, so
Okay.
that's an accurate.
So I need a motion for that.
Move to approve?
So Kevin, I have a motion.
Second.
I have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, so that's approved.
Okay. Arena elevator modernization, actual bid came in at $688,945, so I'd ask for the approval to change the approved value down from 770 to open funds for other potential use.
Okay, on
That
that.
makes sense. That makes sense.
Okay.
I understand where you're going with that, Matt. Motion to approve.
Okay, so
Mr. Chair.
Kevin, I have a motion. I have a second, please.
Second.
And I have a second. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? Okay, that's all set.
Right now, actually, I'd like to skip the network UCS upgrade.
Okay.
I believe I left that highlighted from a prior month. I think we already addressed the 16,000. I got to follow up on something else, so.
Okay.
Arena chiller construction, that one actually came in above the original approved, so that is, I do need that approval in order to get the PO issued and contract executed. The revised number of $1,123,000 compared to the original estimate of $900,000.
Motion to approve, Mr. Chair?
Okay, I have a motion. Do I have a second, please?
Second.
A motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Boy, can't you spend the money like a trucking soldier? All right, go ahead.
Arena structural rigging grid, this is another number where because it's the $340,000 under, I want to just take the accepted number, the bid number of $2,160,000 and have that approved in lieu of the original estimate of $2,500,000.
Okay, on that request. Motion.
Motion to approve, Mr. Chair?
Kevin, second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Aye.
You're all set, man.
So I'm not showing it on here because I forgot to change the printout size, but below this on my own little thing we had, with all these changes that we just did, it opened up about $125,000 additional money to then allocate somewhere else.
Okay,
Great,
good,
great.
perfect.
Great job, Matt.
Thank you,
Thank you,
man.
ma'am.
Okay,
And that's that, and then you have the closeout thing to look yourself. The
okay,
completed projects on the list is included in the packet.
perfect. Any questions for Matt? Okay, moving on. Community Day applications, we have none. Item 7, Legends Global. John, you presenting this? We
Yes.
gotta get Sandy back on the time.
You never know what's going to happen tomorrow or the next day after. Thank you. First and foremost, both Melissa and I will be taking pieces to go over the updates from the last month. I think the biggest lead-in is we do have a new GM for the DCU Center. It's a name and a face that many of you may know. It's Amy Peterson, who is with the City of Worcester, but prior to that spent several years at the DCU Center. So it's a true homecoming. And this was after a lot of research and searching by the city, Legends Global, to find the right candidate, and Amy bubbled up, and we are excited to have her on board. She begins on the 2nd of February, and I'm sure if she hasn't reached out yet, she will be reaching out.
Sounds like a win all around for us, so that's
It
great.
is, it's great news.
I can just say that I worked with Amy when I was with the City of Worcester, and I think it's a terrific selection.
Terrific, thank you.
During the month of December, we continued the Legends Global Month of Giving. Thanks in part to the Civic Center Commission, a rent-free day was given to the DCF, Department of Children and Families, to host their annual Christmas party here. A lot of the staff volunteered, and we had 300 guests who wouldn't normally have a holiday celebration of this type, but thanks to you and our team, we gave them a Christmas they'll never forget. Back of house experience. As we in Legends Global look to improve the relationships we have with the artists, and more importantly the promoters that come to the building, we are introducing some new initiatives that is elevating the back of house experience for those artists and the tour representatives that come into the building. Everything from providing laundry bags to a masseuse to specialized food and beverage catering, just to say welcome to Worcester. We also give them an opportunity to find out what's going on in the city. It could be something at Mechanics Hall if they're in here for a number of days, Hanover Theater. We've opened up ice skating to some of the team that have come in for Trans-Siberian Orchestra, just to give them a proper Worcester welcome. So you'll be seeing some of these initiatives over the next several months as we welcome artists to the building.
Help them overlook some of the problems we have backstage too.
You got it, nailed it, Lenny. You give them a great experience while they're here. They may tend to forget some of the things that might not be on par. New facility partners and sponsorships. We partner with the Worcester Railers, who sell advertising and sponsorships on behalf of the building. We work with them very closely. Over the last month and a half, we have identified a new naming rights partner for the pavilion, which was formerly held by Fallon. We are welcoming Nova Alarm Systems. They are a local company based out of Oxford. They will have branding throughout the pavilion, the exterior of the building, so thrilled to have them on board. WWE, which we held in early January, Legend Global brought in a small sponsorship that helped us provide complimentary charging to the guests that were on site. We're going to look back at some of the events that we hosted since you last met. Trans-Siberian Orchestra, one of our holiday classics that come in every year. We had over 16,000 fans come to the building, enjoy Christmas before it happened. They give back to the community along with their radio partners in the building, and we were able to donate almost $8,000 to different charities locally. Graduations, we normally talk about them in the spring, but December we hosted the mid-year graduation for MCPHS, welcomed 5,000 guests to the building, 345 students graduating. Estimated economic impact from that one event was over $300,000. They will return this year for their mid-year graduation. WWE. We kicked off the new year with a packed house, almost 7,000 fans in attendance. One of the highest grossing WWE events that we have had in the building over the last 10 years, 11 WWE events. This is what they call a house show or a live show. It was non-televised and actually did better than some of the televised events. Globetrotters came in the day after. I give props to our operations department because they went from wrestling to basketball and then from basketball back to hockey. So annual fun favorite. We celebrated 100 years, brought in a giant cake. Fans sang happy birthday to them while they were here on the court. Railers, I did want to bring this up. You know, we're halfway through the season. As some of you may know, the ECHL had a brief strike at the end of December, and that resulted in 2 games being postponed. They're home for the holidays games. Those have been rescheduled. Like I said, it was a brief strike. Those 2 games will be moved to April at the end of the season. And when they came back to the ice, we had a flashback game to the Worcester Ice Cats. Almost 8,000 fans in the building cheering on the Railers as they wore team colors from years past.
Okay, so we had Convention Center. There was the Railers Booster Club annual holiday dinner, which had 150 guests. Then we also had the Worcester Chamber of Commerce annual meeting.
This meeting is being recorded and
Brought in about
transcribed.
700 patrons.
Penelope Heritage is now joining.
Celebration honoring achievements of the Commonwealth newest troopers. And let's see, so that was that.
Penelope Heritage is now exiting.
Okay, next
Sorry.
So
one.
I am here. Can I just say something? I got kicked off and I've been waiting for 20 minutes in the waiting room. And then I tried the phone entry as well. And again, I was waiting. So I don't know what's happening on your end. I got kicked off and I was in the waiting room for a long time trying to get in. So I'm just curious about if any community member wanted to come to the meeting, then that would make a really difficult time for them to get on. So in the future, if someone gets kicked off, let's be very mindful of getting everyone back on. And if anyone wants to join from the community, they should have easy access to get on anytime too. Thank you.
Thank you, Penelope. Sorry about that.
That's my bad. I was sharing my screen, so I didn't have the Teams window up to actually see the audience.
Yeah, okay, I emailed Kate and I emailed Lenny and I was emailing everyone, so someone caught on, so thank you.
I'm sorry, Penelope.
No worries.
Okay, so upcoming events, we have Treaty Oak Revival, the country rock band, and then we have Perioland, which is a reggae flow kind of an event. Then we also have Monster Jam coming in May, and Forest Frank, which is a religious concert that we have coming up there in June. And we have more upcoming events, Bulls, Bands, and Barrels, NCAA as well. At the Convention Center, we have Comerford & Sons, and then we have Crush It Real Estate Meeting, Art in Motion Regional Dance Tour.
Social media, I think the last time I presented, I asked some of the folks in the room or those that weren't in the room to just keep an eye on our social, and I think you have, because our numbers continue to trend upwards. A highlight from the past month and a half was the Silver Screen Con host that we announced coming back to the DCU Center in October of this year. Had over 169,000 views and over 12,000 interactions. You know, again, we try to, not just tell the story of the events that are coming, but also the story of the building. Note that when we announced the appointment of Amy on social media, it blew our numbers away. So that'll probably be the big announcement next month for social media. Media coverage, we continue to get local, regional, and national press covering the DCU Center, everything from the railers to the different types of events that we're hosting.
Global Month of Giving. We had donated 12 3-foot subs to the firefighters' annual firefighter year ceremony at Mechanics Hall. That's something that we have done. The Food and Beverage Department does a lot of donations. Arena event highlights. Let's see. WWE. Their per cap spending increased significantly from $11.82 to $14.80. And then the POS and terminals expanding from 43 to 60, supporting higher revenues. Then Harlem Globetrotters stayed solid at 1097, reflecting continued guest engagement. So then, the Food and Beverage Department also donated hot chocolate to the Ice Cats Wizard World of Worcester night. So 21 gallons of hot chocolate were provided to anyone who was dressed as Harry Potter characters. And then the department updates. We were busy putting in the oval ice. And then they had, like John had said, a changeover from ice to a graduation back to ice. And they've been deep cleaning, carpeting areas to maintain the facility standards. They replaced sports lights in the arena, had to be replaced as they were starting to dim. And then the staff is trained. Oh, they were trained on the Daktronics 360-degree ribbon board in the arena. And then we have my financial report. So October had 7 more event days than budgeted, resulting in total event income of $25,000 above budget. Notable events were Bank of America, Hot Wheels, and Disney. Now, there was also a concert budgeted in a sporting event that didn't happen. Indirect expenses are $80,000 over budget and due to the timing-related factors. Year-to-date results are $613,570 favorable to budget. That was at the end of October. And then for November, total event income exceeded $89,000 because we had 4 events more than the budgeted plan. And this is saving to indirect expenses of $15,000, and year-to-date we're $702,000 over budget. For HR, we had open enrollment. And the good news was there were no increases in the premiums this year, so the employees appreciated that. Box office. Oh, I wanted to show, this is a VIP lounge area that we provide to some concerts and some events, and this is the additional revenue that we've been bringing in. You can see from the different, it's a private lounge in the rail yard, and patrons can purchase a ticket and they have access to that private lounge before the event, during the event, and there's appetizers and a bar, bathrooms, and coat racks.
Community center sales. Normally Jim would be speaking to this, but Jim has retired. So I'm going to touch upon the sales team, which is actively out in the community, actively out in the industry looking for potential leads, looking at bringing back events that have been at the DCU Center in years past. Over the last month, they were contracted 13 repeat clients and 2 new clients. In addition, we also had over the last couple of weeks, we had the Mass State Police RTT Ball, which was the first time they've hosted it, and they immediately contracted for next year. So good to see that, mix of returning and new clients coming to the building. Proposals, as I said, it's all about casting the net and seeing what you can get in. Over the last month, they have a sales team put out a number of proposals, had a number of clients come in and visit the building. Right now we're looking at a total of 17 conventions or conferences with anticipated event days of 33, and then this is, of those, 16 are new businesses. And I think that is the last page. That wraps up our monthly summary. Of course, we're available for questions. If anything we shared, you'd like more information on, we're happy to provide.
John and Melissa, big shoes to fill. You did a great job. Thank you both.
Thank you.
Questions from committee members? No? That said, we had that, revisit.
We revisit, yeah, we have to revisit that other piece.
Yes, this is the Legends Global Capital Investment Plan that was presented. Penelope, did you get that?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay.
I'm all set.
Okay, and Kate got it. Any questions from the commissioners?
Yes, no question.
No questions? Okay. So I guess we'd be looking for approval, Melissa?
Yeah, approval that we fulfilled our obligation, that Legends Global's fulfilled their obligation.
So the motion would be that Legend Global fulfill their obligation, $3.5 million.
Motion to approve, Mr. Chair?
I got a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
A second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
That motion is approved. Anything else you need, Melissa?
That's it.
Okay, great. Thank you all. Our next meeting, February 26th, 8:30 a.m., same time. We'll do better with technology then. Sorry again about
Thank
that,
you.
Penelope. That being said,
I'll be in person.
hope you're feeling better. Thank you all. Can I have a motion to approve, please?
Motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn, second? All those in favor? Opposed?
Aye.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.